Welcome to Treasure Chest Part 3, and in this tutorial we're going to just concentrate on the hinge to start off with. So I've made a box in my perspective view here, and you can see it in my front view as well, with a length of 1 unit, a width of 10 and a height of 8, and it should sort of turn out something like that. No segments, just the one segment. Alright, so in the accompanying PDF you'll see that we have some tubes and a cylinder that runs down the center, just like a normal type of lock. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tubes sort of together there, and then there's some screws that are placed on the top, so you can see it down in this picture here. Some screws in the top here. Well, I wouldn't put screws in there because then people would just unscrew it to get into the treasure. I think we're just going to put some kind of knobs in there that are bolted from inside. So we'll just go back to Max here. So I've made a box in my perspective view, and I've given it a length of 1, a width of 10, and a height of 8 units, just with one segment. Now a unit here is the international unit that they use in Max, but if you wanted to change that to something that you understand, if you go to Customize Unit Setup, you can see you can go in metric here or feet, and you can change. At the moment it's using generic unit, that is by default, so that's cool with me for now. So I'll just take that off for you. So I just wanted to show you that. So let's make the other bits that are in there. So we've got a cylinder and a tubes, or 5 tubes. So let's make our cylinder first. So in my top view, which is still in a wireframe view, I've also centered this box in the middle of the world, and to do that before I start with this is pretty simple. You just grab your move, click on your move tool, right click it with the selected box, and right click all the spinners beside it, and it will go into the center of the world, as you can see in this graph here. Okay, back to the cylinder. Okay, I'm going to make a cylinder. It's got to be a little bit smaller than the plate. Well, actually it can be the same size as the plate. So if I just drag out a circle about approximately where I want it to be, like that. Okay, and then let go, push up, and approximately where I want it to be there, because I'll put all the parameters in now. Let's make the radius. So we made it 1 unit wide, so the radius would have to be 0.5 to be exactly, because the diameter is 1 and radius is 0.5. The height of this guy was 8, so we'll change that to 8. Oops. Change that to 8 by deleting that. So there's 8, so I'm at the right size. And as far as segments go, we don't need 5 segments, height segments. So we can take that away too. We don't need that many. We'll just make it a little bit simpler, as you can see. Okay, you can see it's still got the sides because we want the roundness, but we haven't got the height segments. Okay. So at this stage, let's just right click the move tool to see how that is as far as in the world. We'll change this guy and we'll leave that. So just right click the X and the Y, so it's sitting up the same as the other guy. Cool. So we've got it positioned right for now. Okay. So now we've got an 8 height, and we've got to make 5 tubes for this guy. So let's go over to the tubes, and let's just start by making one, and I'll zoom in on the top view, and right in the center here I'm going to just drag out my tube, and in actual fact that's probably about what I want. Something that just fits around the guy. Something like that. And height, well, we'll just go up just a little bit and then we'll work it out. Okay, so let's just have a look what we've got here. This is the radius from inside, so we need to come to around about just on the outside of that, which is around about, let's make it 6.6. And let's make the outside radius, let's just make it 7.7. That's okay. Now the height, so we've got 8 units and we need to get 5 into 8. So that is, well, let's make it 1.5 in height. Let's see how we go from that. Alright, and as far as height segments, we only need 1. Okay, nice and simple little tube there. But we need to make 5 of these guys. So I'll grab my move tool, and with that selected, hold down my shift tool, and I'm just going to drag this guy up to just so there's a bit of a gap there, which obviously there will be with the other 5. So put it about there. Where it says number of copies, put in how many copies do we need? 4. 4. Okay. That's kind of worked out alright. We need to readjust them though a little bit. So with that one selected, I'm just going to push him down till he's about there. That one there. So there's a little gap in between all of them. Hopefully this would work out alright. Like so. It's not bad. I might just push this guy up a little bit more. That one. Now if I'd made it 10, I could have done this a little bit. 10 in height would have been a little bit easier, but there's a good start to it all. So we're going to put a couple spheres on the panel, on the plate here at this stage. So I'm just going to grab my auto grid and I'm just going to draw out a sphere right there. Turn off auto grid. Well, I've still got it selected. I want it really 0.7 of a hemisphere, which of course brings it out from where it was. So we need to bring it back in again. So I'll grab my move tool and we'll just push it back into the plate, which is around about, well, that's right in the plate. So we're just touching the plate like so. In fact, the top view is probably a better way to see that. Just going into the plate like so. Okay, so we've got one knob there. Let's put another one. And what we're going to do is we're going to just raise this guy up to about there. And I'll just hold down shift and make another copy around about there. Yep, fine. So there's your plate with the 2 knobs. So again, select your box or your plate, and let's just turn this plate into an editable, convert to an editable poly, and then we're going to attach these 2 knobs by going over to the button over here, attach, which is in your modify list here. So attach, and we're going to attach this one and that one. You'll notice that it's changed to green. Turn off the attach. And now those bits are all one section. So, back to your top view. Let's move it across. You can see that it's sticking away from our tube there. I'm going to move it into, it's just sort of sitting into the tube, something like that. So it kind of looks like it's part of it, like so. So now that we've got these 3 objects as one thing, let's call it plate, which I already have there, plate 1. Okay, so now it's called plate 1. Okay, so if we have a look at the top of view here, what we need to do now is make another plate for the other side. So we can do that by just going up to mirror and mirroring it on its X, and by scrolling on the scroll button here, we can make a copy on the other side. So I've got no clone on there, so that's how it is with default. If I hit copy, you can see that it's copied it across. I think I'm pretty well in the right spot there. I'm just going to cancel it and bring it up closer. Okay, and then I'm going back there again to the mirror and X, a copy, offset, bring it over to it's around about the same. There, press OK. And you notice it's called itself plate 002, which is cool. Okay, so now we're going to attach some of these cylinders to the two plates. So if you select your first plate and go up to your modify panel, and go to attach, and attach the top one, the middle one, and the last one. Okay, and then we'll turn that off, and we'll select the other plate, and let's go in there and attach this one and this one. Okay, at the moment it's all the same color, so I'm just going to go up to the color here for that side while I've got it and change it to a different color so we can see it. Alright, now so at this stage we have three objects. We've got this plate over here, and this plate over here, and the cylinder in the center. So I've left the cylinder by itself because what we're going to do now is play with some pivot points. I'll attach the cylinder. Well, I suppose the best way we could do this is that we could go in here and we could right click the cylinder, convert it to an editable poly, and then attach this guy over here. Okay, so now that's all attached to the cylinder here. So if I click off attach here, you'll see that my pivot point's still sitting in the center there, which is what I wanted. Okay, don't do that. Go back to my front view. If I select the other plate, okay, if I select the other plate, I can, because I attached the cylinder, turned it into an poly and attached the plate to the cylinder, then the pivot point of the cylinder is in the center. Oh, you fucking thing. So what I'm going to do now is select the other side, go into the hierarchy chart, affect pivot only. This pivot's in the center of this. Go up to my align tool, align it with the cylinder at the top here. I can see it, so I'll grab it. So now my pivot should be needs to be aligned on the x-axis, which is right. We're happy with that. So now that pivot point is aligned to that one. So let's just see how this works. If I grab my guy here, there you go. You see it's now pivoting just like I want it to. If I grab the other one, that should do the same thing. There you go. So there you have a working pivot hinge. Thank you.